vision shining bright. From the east to every coast, Bakalaka Dakastan's they toast. Greatest ever, he's the man. AJ's got the winning plan. He will prevail, he will succeed. Bakalaka Dakastan's the creed. Followers shout with all their might. AJ's vision shining bright. From the east to every coast, Bakalaka Dakistan they toast. Greatest ever, he's the man. AJ's got the winning plan. He will prevail, he will succeed. Bakalaka Dakistan's the creed. Monitors hum with electric light. AJ's bringing dark to bright. In the chat, they give their cheer. Bakalaka Dakistan is near. It's near. It's creed. It's near. Bakalaka Dakistan's the creed.
Okay, time for the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. YouTube chat. Tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. What's going on, everybody? All right. We will begin today with an explosion. Yeah? 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 So this is a shot of Firefly's test stands in Briggs, Texas. That test stand right there is the Alpha, Firefly Alpha first stage test stand. This was just a couple hours ago.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah. Orange whip, 3 orange. Oh, yeah. Yeesh. So that's not great. We did get a confirmation from Firefly just actually a little bit later. During a test at Firefly's facility in Briggs, Texas, the first stage of Firefly's Alpha Flight 7 rocket experienced an event that resulted in the loss of the stage. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's not ideal. It's interesting that they would be getting this a type of failure on a test stand, guys, because that's like, it's weird to get a test failure 7 flights in on a design. Surely you're not changing things at this point in time, right? Like, it's Astra sabotage. Yeah. Yeah, that's not great. I'm not sure if that's that big of a deal for Firefly in the long run. I mean, obviously you lost a test stand and that's no good. Check their stock. Oh. Oh. Quality control? I don't know. Well, they are ramping alphas as far as I can tell. Yeah, so this could be part of an effort of getting things done quicker, but we don't know for sure. Yeah, that drop after hours is that's not great. Yeah, that's after the market's closed. Yeah, that right there is when they announced, right there is basically where they announced their failure. Let's see. 405. So right there is when they announced the pay. Oof. I mean, not too bad. 11% loss is not too bad, but that's always interesting to me. That means somebody sees something like this, right? Somebody sees something like this and immediately is like, nope, I'm divesting. No, I'm divesting. Like, I mean, I was going to just make it a thing like how that's not that big of a deal. I mean, stages blow up, it happens, but also, yeah, I guess I can see how a normie would look at this and be like, yo, that's bad. Nope. 61-month resale from condition of man, will do better next time. Yeah. Chris Kemp's gonna have a field day with this. Yeah. Should be noted, despite being a publicly traded company, they went public about it very quickly. Yeah, well, have I not made that clear? What do you mean it should be noted? That was the second thing I said. The Hive Mind thinks that with Alpha's flight getting pushed to later and later, they're losing contracts to Rocket Lab. Yeah. So... Dudes. So right around 4 o'clock, Rocket Lab stock just bumped. There's no way, dude. Come on now. Oh my God. There's no way that happened. Wow. Stock already crashed 2 weeks ago when they missed revenue by a lot. What do you mean? Oh. Missed revenue after inaugural earnings. Posted a rev of 15.5 million with roughly 16.1 million expected on average by analysts polled by Bloomberg. I only missed it by they missed it by less than $1 million. That's fine. What's wrong with that? That's nothing in this, dude. 500, 600 grand. That's nothing in the spaceflight industry. That's nothing. Dogs are run by people who like to roleplay making informed and educated decisions while moving billions of dollars on feels only. Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Does Firefly even have a pad setup? Yeah, Slick 2. Slick 2 at Vandenberg. They've launched missions out of there. This was for the 7th flight, dude. They've launched 6 missions prior. They promised that their backlog in revenue is massive, especially with the NASA CLIPS contracts. What do you mean promised? It is. And if I'm remembering correctly, they're the only CLIPS provider that's landed something on the moon. Successfully. Upright. Astrobotic didn't even come close. Intuitive Machine has done it twice, but the lander keeps tipping over. No problem, Fluffy. Rocket Lab also posted this at a similar time. Oh yeah, this was my next bit of space news, Phil. They've secured a second multi-launch contract with Synspective, bringing the total number of upcoming missions with them to 21. The largest order of dedicated Electron missions with a single customer to date. As Synspective's sole launch provider so far, we've already successfully developed 6 Strix satellites across 6 dedicated launches from LC-1. The next 21 launches will launch from the same site, with our schedule flexibility, tailored launch service, and streamlined operations central to Synspective's decision to extend previous multi-launch contract. To extend its previous multi-launch contract. Wow. Huh. Yeah, investors don't know anything about rockets. Actually, yeah, you're not wrong. Damn. Rocket Lab's nailing contracts, man. And Firefly is, yeah. This is, starting to heat up, dudes. Starting to heat up, man. That's pretty cool. Speaking of heating up in the launch market, I think. Clips extension was on the 22nd. Earnings call was on the 23rd. Interesting. So, Andrew Parsonson wrote this article here, but I got to sneeze first. So now that I've done that, let's read the article. Avio wins $40 million ESA contract to design reusable upper stage demonstration. I am happy they are pursuing reusability because reusable spacecraft are the future of the commercial spaceflight industry or something. Wow. What a totally amazing original idea. What a totally amazing, excellent discovery. I didn't. You can't see what's the core size on this. So that's a P120C. That's a Vega first stage. This thing is tiny, dudes. It's very small. The contract is for a reusable upper stage, guys. So that's a P120C Vega first stage with that on top of it. The European Space Agency has awarded Italian rocket builder Avio a €40 million contract to design a reusable rocket stage demonstrator. the ESA first published a call for phase 1 development of a reusable rocket upper stage in March of 2024. This initial phase focused on the identification of technology maturation needs for a reusable upper stage demonstration. What, they watched some Starship footage and got paid for it, or? While the agency did not release any information about the companies involved in phase 1, it appears that the phase lasted approximately 12 months, culminating in ESA's publication of the phase 2 call in May of 2025. According to the call, the second phase would include activities up to a critical design milestone. On the 29th of September, ESA announced that it awarded a $40 million contract to Avio for phase 2 of the project's development. Over the next 24 months, the Italian company will complete the demonstrator missions, system requirements, and technological solutions, ending with a primary design for both flight and ground segments. The scope of work appears to fall short of reaching a critical design milestone as outlined in the original. This thing's never flying. This thing's never flying, dude. System requirements and technological solutions, ending with a preliminary design for both flight and ground systems. Let us Euros hope. Yeah. The scope of work appears to fall short of reaching a critical design milestone, as outlined in the original call. We are capitalizing on progress made in advanced liquid propulsion, re-entry, recoverability, and reusable technologies, complementing ongoing efforts to de-risk demonstrations of reusable lower stages, supporting different possible scenarios, including evolutions of the Vega family of rockets, as well as other newly defined fully reusable launch systems in Europe. Thanks for the bits, Ga. Said ESA's chief technical advisor for space transportation, Giorgio Tomino. Well, few specifics have been disclosed about the Avio proposal. An accompanying graphic appears to depict the first stage as a P-120C solid rocket booster, which serves as the first stage of the company's Vega C rocket. If the first stage is indeed a P-120C and the upper stage is to scale, the completed demonstrator will likely stand at approximately 36.5 meters tall. The reusable upper stage depicted in the graphic bears a resemblance, at least in appearance, to that of Starship from SpaceX, suggesting propulsive recovery. In its September 29th press release, Avio stated that it will draw on its expertise with Methalox liquid propulsion systems for the project. What expertise? What are you talking about? You guys don't make a Methalox rocket. Likely indicating that the stage will be powered by an array of the company's MR-10 rocket engines, which are being developed for the upper stage for its Vega E rocket. Oh my God. We are in the process of gaining experience. In addition to its experience with liquid propulsion systems. Avio makes solid rocket boosters. What do you mean? Why are we saying they have experience? Okay. Joke context, just in case anybody's wondering. Their Vega C rocket is a 4-stage to orbit launch vehicle. The first 3 stages are made by Avio. They are all solid rocket motors. The 4th stage is a liquid fuel motor. It's Russian or Ukrainian. It's a Avum upper stage, which is derived from some post-Soviet technology or ex-Soviet technology. You know what I'm saying? They don't even make it. They threw one in the trash by accident because they didn't know what it was. You think I'm kidding? That's absolutely true. Seriously, what expertise are you talking about? And no, that's not a joke. They did throw away an Avum upper stage because they didn't know. They thought it was junk. They thought it was they threw it into a dumpster. That's not an exaggeration. That absolutely happened. You think that's a joke? If you think that's hyperbole, it's not. It absolutely happened. Tanks went missing for the Avum upper stage because the stages were later found in a landfill. Avio's release stated that it would also utilize knowledge acquired through the Space Rider Reentry Vehicle program. Space Rider is a planned uncrewed orbital lifting body. Revue is, however, not involved in that side of the Space Rider program. The company is the prime contractor for the service module. However, it does not re-enter the atmosphere. Thales Space is leading the work on the Space Rider re-entry module with contributions from Beyond Gravity, Sierra, Center, GMV, Friendtech, Sapka, Ariane Group, and Simsa. How did you get a contract? How did you get a contract? How did it? The MR10 is existing hardware. Yes, I understand that. Page 9. What's page 9? Yeah, I know. I know that the same way Arianespace got that startup money. For real, dude.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
So, out of all those things they said they have experience in, none of those things have flown, and one of them has been tested a couple of times. And this is a $40 million contract for a PDR. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We'll use the experience we plan to have 5 years from now. That worked to get a contract. That worked. They straight up said that, Tesla Max. Fake it until you make it. That doesn't work with space flight. That doesn't work. You can't fake physics. Oh, you can't fake physics. Dang it. Got the contract though. How's it going? It's going good, man. How are you? Dude, yes, listen to this. Listen to this. Avio, the company that makes Vega, the Vega launch vehicle, they got a contract from the European Space Agency, $40 million to come up with a preliminary design for a reusable upper stage.
Go at throttle up.
Avio, who makes the Vega launch vehicle, which is 90% solid rocket boosters, cited their experience in liquid fuel technology to get this contract. I'm not making this up, man. Oh, hey, I've seen that before. Joe Simba 1, 65-month resub. Now I can't tell, Cheeseburger, you can't tell if your favorite EJ quote from last week is they vibe coded the guidance system or you can't fake physics. You can't fake physics, man. So what? You're saying the ESA is getting ripped off? I'm saying, okay, all right, okay. Let me put this another way. And during the few moments that we have left, we're gonna talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand. No, all right. Even if Avio had experience with, like, flight experience with that MR10 liquid fuel vehicle, and the Space Rider vehicle had made multiple completed flights, and they collaborated with Thales Alenia on the thermal protection systems, etc., etc. Even if they had all the experience that they're claiming that they have, but they don't, but they will have soon, and that's the good reason for them to have the contract. $40 million, 40 million euros for a PDR is dumb. That's dumb. That's not going anywhere. $40 million for you to figure out what to make. That is ridiculously, that's a PDR costing $40 million. Are you kidding me? The $40 million is not even for the contract. It's for the plan. For not even a finalized design. Not even a finalized design. It's the plan. I wouldn't pay that much for a PBR. Well, yeah, what? No, nobody would. If only these guys got any of that ESA money being thrown around. They've been actually flying prototypes and subscale craft to work out the kinks on their tech. Polaris. Oh. Polaris Raumflugsieg. Zeug. Nice. What's that about? Oh, I don't hate that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. A 2-year PDR. A 2-year PDR. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Now, fellas, to be honest, sometimes preliminary designs for things take long. When you're trying something for the first time, it could take a little bit more money, etc., etc. But it seems like they're proposing using off-the-shelf technology, bragging about all the experience they have. So if your propulsion technology is already researched and you have plenty of experience in that, and your entry data, you have good entry data from the Space Rider program that you're not a part of because you make the service module and not the reentry. Like, why is this costing so much? That's expensive. It's $40 million for a PDR? You got to be kidding me. In contrast, $40 million, that's like Clip's contract territory, dude. People have landed stuff on the moon for that amount of money. People have crashed stuff on the moon for less. Yeah. Maybe we're all reading it wrong. They have experience in getting contracts for no reason. That's a good point, Shova. That's a good point. Running Bear, your friend and I were talking earlier this weekend. In fact, it was a minor debate. When the first stage lands on the drone ship, of course, I still love you. Do they bring it back to Vandenberg via boat or do they bring it back via truck? It used to be trucks, Running Bear. Now it's a barge. Yeah. It's a barge. Yep. Ship watching, I have a question I forgot to ask before. After the main engines on the shuttle start, why does the rocket start rocking back and forth? Because the engines are pointed this way and the stack's pointed that way, and it causes it to rock back and forth, man. That's called a thwang maneuver. I mean, this project is already dead, by the way. Avio is basically a Ponzi scheme at this point. Yeah. But somebody still gives them money. This is... Hey, at least we didn't spend $4.2 billion on a capsule that doesn't work yet. Ye have a short memory. Explain yourself, Deadbringer. Explain. What is that then? Space plane, not capsule. Oh, so it's different. My mistake. See, now I'm wondering. No word on price, huh? Interesting. Remember this? What is that? Yeah, I don't know. Weird. Maybe it's just European way of fraud. Some German politician managed to get a multi-million-dollar contract award to a company of some friends that hadn't even been legally founded at that point. I don't know what they're doing over there. Was that an EU Dream Chaser? That's the Hermes program, Raiden. Did you know that Ariane 5 was human rated? And it was built in with human rating from the start to launch a small reusable space plane that Europe developed and like got 90% of the way there and then never flew for some reason. I'm sorry. That's just okay. We'll you know what? We'll check back in. We'll check back in with this in a year or two. We'll see what happens. Anyway. Steve Reed, 9-month resub. G'day. Derbe. What's up, man? Yeah. Yeah. Why can't we just do things? I will take this, but it will need a year to see if this is a real thing. I don't know, thousands. I don't know, man. And I'm getting pretty sick of this game, dude. It goes back to a theory that I've said, man. The money's there. The money's there. NASA has enough money. You just gotta want it. You just gotta do it. Like, but no one seems to want to. Speaking of not wanting to do things that you get paid for, here's something from Sierra Space. We have successfully completed the critical design review for Semper Citius SDA, so that's the Space Development Agency's Tranche 2 tracking layer, affirming technical readiness to begin production of advanced missile tracking satellites for the proliferated warfighter space architecture. Thank you for the segue. Yep. Is Ariane 6 human rated? No idea. Are you gonna take 15 years to launch those too, or? Yeah, I see people share the same sentiment as me here. Yeah. SDA injected $740 million into the MTO bill, into the MTO medium trans. I don't know what the end of your sentence says. Did you think they use taxpayer money to develop this program? Yeah, of course. The Space Development Agency, SDA is okay. SDA is part of the Department of War, guys. So yes, they do. I mean, it says Department of Defense there, but they changed the name. I don't care if you don't like it. That's the name, so that's what I'm calling it. It's not a political thing. It's just getting it right. Okay? Be absolutely sure. So yes, they're using defense money to design that satellite. Hopefully we get something out of it. Mission task order. Yeah, okay. They're still the DoD. They just have a second name. Oh, did they really not do it correct? Yeah, of course they didn't do it correctly. Okay, so DoD, whatever, call it whatever you want. Any other good news? This is a political thing. Yeah, I apologize. Is timing you out a political thing too? Sure. There you go. I'm wrong. I just felt like timing you out. Sorry. Is that bad? Anyway, Space Coast is ramping up. They are ramping up. I want to show those pictures of the Gigabay too. Firefly test event, Foz? What, the one that didn't? Yeah, we covered that already, dude. We covered that at the top of the news. Could be, depends on your motivations. I mean, Oculus, it's kind of a damned if I do, damned if I don't thing. That's why I said originally, just call it whatever you want. I don't really care. You know what you do. If you say Department of War, people know what you mean. If you say Department of Defense, people know what you mean. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to call anything anymore. It's like the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. You know, I'm here to make fun of companies for embezzling. I mean, getting awarded contract money for spaceflight. Speaking of people that actually do things, here's some footage from the Kuiper 3 launch. ULA released the highlight reel for the Kuiper Mission 3 the other day. There's sound with it, guys. There's music with it. We can't watch the music, so we got this. This is nice. Yeah, Steve. Yep. Yeah, Alex, I don't care. I don't care. Space, dude. Let it go. Not general in context of the stream. Let's just watch more space stuff, okay? Forgive me for not doing my research for once. That's my fault. My fault. My bad. Time to just mute audio on YouTube. Yeah, right. Oh, that's money, dude. Very nice. We did watch this launch on stream. It was pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, Rudy, what's going on, man? Nice. But at the request of their customer, they don't want, ULA won't show stage separation and deployment of the satellites, except after the fact. They won't show it live at the request of their customer because, I don't know. I hate that they do that, dude, to be honest with you. I mean, it's their, you know, at the end of the day, it's Amazon's tech, but it's kind of weird to me that they do that, considering the straightforwardness we get with like Starlink launches and stuff, you know, but whatever. This is a shot of the Gigabay. Well, before we get into talking about Starship stuff, we got another thing from Axiom here. They have a new video, but once again, we can't look at the damn audio, so, or we can't listen to the damn audio, so this is what comes next from Axiom Space. Let's see what they're up to. Yeah, of course, let's turn on that. All right, let's get closed captions going. There is a generation alive today that has never known a day where every human was on Earth. For them, space has never been a new frontier. For them, the question is not, can we live and work in space? The question is, what comes next? For nearly 3 decades, the International Space Station has been home off-planet for those in service of humanity. An orbiting laboratory sparking new discoveries, life-changing innovations, and historic breakthroughs. But what comes next? What comes next matters because what is needed is not to just to continue our presence in space, but to enable a new generation to unlock the potentials of microgravity. To invite industry to pose the questions that will give rise to the next age of humanity. How can we transcend the limitations of our planet so that our world becomes a better place to live? The answer is to establish a platform for nations and researchers to conduct more pioneering investigations than ever before. The answer is to be an orbital forge to unprecedented industrial developments that can scale exponentially. The answer is to maintain a continuous heartbeat just outside Earth's atmosphere from which humanity can venture even further out. How do we know? Because we're the ones already building what comes next. With flight hardware in Turin, Italy, flight systems in Houston, Texas, and operational confidence in low Earth orbit, the next era of human spaceflight has already begun. Axiom is the world's next space station, sequenced to meet the needs of our nation and customers around the globe. We're the only ones. What did that say? We're the only ones permitted to berth a commercial module to the International Space Station. What the hell is Cygnus? What is Cygnus? Does that just not exist? This payload segment will attach to the International Space Station, offering not only cargo capacity, but a right-sized hatch to allow for the transfer of entire research racks. This is a critical solution to for saving decades of flight hardware, science, and technology, and ensuring the efforts of international partners continue to provide groundbreaking research. And following closely behind the payload module will be our first crew quarters. On orbit, these two modules will meet, and what follows builds out Axiom Station, an airlock for spacewalks and external science, a second habitation module to support 4 more crew, and then a segment wholly designed around space strategies of industry, including Earth-facing windows, unlike anything ever attempted in the vacuum of space. And yet, building out a space station is an undertaking rivaled only by the task of operating it. Success up there requires the steady hand of unseen heroes down here. And ours were the hard-earned badges of spaceflight. The hell? The hard-earned badges of spaceflight for a mission that you didn't pay for, on a rocket that's not yours, that you didn't develop, in a capsule that you didn't develop, to a space station that's also not yours, and you didn't develop. That's some hard-earned badges there. People are revolutionizing new methods for success at every turn. Yeah, not paying people really gets you, really. It's a good method for success. From design to development to process, this is who we are. This unwavering confidence comes from those who've carried the torch time and time again. It's Peggy Whitson and Michael Lopez Alegria. They're cool. They have experience. Yes, Peggy has experience. She's pretty good, and MLA is also, yeah. You should look up their resumes. They're pretty good. They were ex-NASA astronauts, guys. Yeah, that's the part that I'm actually like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. His accolades and hands-on leadership are respected universally. Yep, that's right. Microgravity will empower scientists to achieve results that take months and days. They'll be able to do science faster. That level of precision have eluded terrestrial engineers. Where a network of orbital data centers will process information mass running on infinite power with infinite cooling, untethered by the constraints of Earth. I'm sorry, what? Can I rewind? You lost me. I don't. whose accolades and hands-on leadership are respected universally. All right, this next part. Music. Microgravity will empower scientists to achieve results in months that will take years on Earth. This is where levels of precision that have eluded terrestrial engineers will suddenly become the norm. Where a network of orbital data centers will process information mass running on infinite power, with infinite cooling, untethered by the constraints of Earth. Ours is a platform upon which the needs of our tenants can be met at limitless scale. Now, okay, two things. There is a bandwidth problem on the ISS. The ISS does have a very high-speed connection, but most of that is taken up by the fact that all the telemetry, everything, every single bit of telemetry on the entire ISS, from power generation to sensors, everything, the gyroscopic control, everything gets downlinked, all of it, to NASA flight ops in Houston constantly. That takes up most of the bandwidth. So what they're talking about having a better data stream is actually not a bad idea. That whole, like, increasing the bandwidth for scientific throughput is that's a good call. But also at the same time, what was that satellite constellation that you just showed? I've heard nothing of this. Also, yeah, what's that? What is that supposed to be? Kepler. Just says Kepler from Axiom Space. Ours is a platform upon which the needs of our tenants can be met at limitless scale. And as these efforts directly benefit the planet and humanity... You guys ever seen the first episode of that show, Silicon Valley? Remember when everybody's like talking about what they want their thing to do? Or no, maybe it's not the first episode. I forget. Oh yeah, to make the world a better place. To make the world a better place. To make the world a better place. Like, you ever seen that? Over the next decade, Axiom Station will also serve as a catalyst for deep space exploration. Okay. There's a generation at work today preparing for humanity to transcend Earth. These are the ones who may very well live and work in space themselves. And while some may ask, can we further human exploration of space? Can we cultivate a true economy in low Earth orbit? Can we maintain the leadership that's been established over decades? You bet we can, because we are. Oh. Hey, wait a minute. Dude, they showed the AXEMU. That's their spacesuit for the Artemis program. All right. All right. Good on them. Good on them, dudes. Cool. That's good. That's one of the long pole items for the Artemis program. That was the reason they made that video. The Axiom Space Station, when is it going to launch, you ask? Oh, 2022. That's when it was supposed to launch. Yeah. Can I go back and look, because I was reading the subtitles? I want to see some of the pictures. I want to look at some of the pictures. When was SLS supposed to launch again? Oh, 2018. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, they missed the mark there. Okay, developmental thruster, nice. Valves, that's the ISS. Still the ISS. EVA from the ISS. There we go. There's Italy. Plants. Why would you quote NPR there? Uh, okay. I want to see. I want to see this part. I want to see where they show the prototype. Okay, that's Thales Alinea right there. So they're in Torino or Turin. There's a thruster firing. Peggy, MLA. That's what I wanted to see right there. That looks like a mock-up. What if they don't have a space station to birth to? Yeah, I know that. Wouldn't that be weird? The only one's permitted to berth a commercial module to the space station. Yeah. See, I don't understand that. Is Cygnus, I guess they're classifying Cygnus as a resupply vehicle, but Cygnus can stay there indefinitely. It could be a module if you really wanted it to. Not that they would, but isn't Thales waiting on Axiom to pay them for the work they've done? Yeah, guys, I see why Axiom posted this video. They wanted to show off everything that they're doing. Ironic. They have a picture of the Halo module back there. Why am I bringing that up? Oh, no reason. Don't worry about that. It's a render, Octolux. Eventually, everything leads back to Cygnus. Yep. So that's Thales Alinea again. So the original plan, guys, was to have that entire thing built off the front of the ISS. Now it's just one module. They refactored their plans a little while back. This is cool, man. I hope they make this. This is great. You know, it's just, once again, like, I'm just very... Now, let me put it to you like this. Let me explain this way. I will admit I'm getting a little more skeptical of people lately, especially with what went down with Dream Chaser. I'm getting just a little skeptical of things, right? You know, however, the flip side of this, to be absolutely fair, jokes aside, this stuff does take time. It really, really, really takes time. This is hard to do. And it's important to figure out the difference between a company that is delaying because this is tough to do and it takes time, and a company that's delaying because they're pretenders. All right. It is hard to delineate that, especially when we don't have foresight in front of us, right? Like, we can't see into the future, you know? With that being said, Axiom has had some serious financial problems in the past. And I don't like saying this. I don't like speaking bad, but they fired their CEO, an ex-NASA bigwig named Mike Suffredini. I'm pretty sure he ran the human exploration operations at NASA for a little while. He got canned because the company got so ridiculously cash strapped. The board basically got rid of him, as far as I can tell. I don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure, but we've also seen articles around from different spaceflight pundits that the company's running out of cash. They don't have much liquidity at all. That's because they stretched themselves too thin. They're doing commercial missions to the space station. They have a contract with SpaceX, but apparently they haven't paid it. They've taken 4 flights to the space station. They haven't paid for one. You know, these space station modules were supposed to be up there in 2022. That's when the first module was supposed to be delivered, so they could gradually hand over, you know, control to Axiom and then get rid of the legacy ISS, and this would basically be their spiritual successor to it. They did that as a hedge against the commercial low Earth orbit destinations program, right? But we're looking at a potential here where we could see a commercial low Earth orbit destination in the form of VAST get up there before this thing does. Not to the ISS, just up there in general. So, like, once again, they did show the AXEMU at the very end, and I do appreciate that. They showed Peggy in it right there. That's pretty cool, man. That looks pretty... That's either a very high fidelity test article or it's the real deal. It looks pretty good. That looks real. That looks like a flight article. The only thing that kind of makes me think, like, is the switches. Those switches look like the kind of switches you'd find in a 1960s Apollo capsule, but maybe that's what they went with. Which is fine. You kind of go with what you know when it comes to Apollo. Hello. Rimo's here.
Rimo's here.
So, who knows? What's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
Because I missed you earlier on break, so I thought I'd...
Hey. It's good to see you.
Thank you. You want to see something I think is cool?
Sure, I will see something that you think is cool. If you keep doing that,
Yeah.
progress will be made very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
I mean, it's only once a week, but it's better than nothing.
Do it.
So I just wanted to share my wins.
That is a W, man.
It's a W.
Good job.
Every time I walk in there, it's a W.
Right, keep doing it. You should do it more. What do you mean, no?
Once a week right now is good. Don't pressure me.
Okay. Okay. That's good, baby. Good job. Love you too. Chat says hi, by the way. She says hi. Big chunky switches are what you want with yeah, with the EVA gloves. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. I have them on my desk, dude. Let's see. Big meaty claws. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's cool that Axiom is showing all this stuff. That's awesome. But once again, like, they've said they were going to do a lot, and they have not followed through. Like, now, to be fair, once again, you know, like, it's hard to delineate who's pretending and who's actually trying to get stuff done. I will say that it very much seems like Axiom is trying to make progress despite the cash flow problems that they have right now. Did Axiom ever move into the old Fry's building? I don't know, Ambrumps. I have no idea. NASA opened the new private astronaut slots for the next 2 years. Vast got 2 missions with SpaceX. Axiom couldn't pay to get any more contracts. Axiom couldn't get any contracts with SpaceX because they didn't pay them for the first 4 missions. What is this? Vast. Oh, yeah, this is from a year ago. Vast announced his deal with SpaceX to launch 2 human spaceflight missions to the ISS. Is there anything about here? Nope, nothing. Can you get me a source, Baron, about... Can you get me a source about that second part? Just for context. Dream Chaser is an example of pretending. Axiom, I think, is an example of trying to do stuff. Dude, I have a question. Fellas, are you familiar with technical debt? I'm very curious how much technical debt Axiom is in right now. They're developing an entire space station, extravehicular activity spacesuits, and they haven't paid for 4 flights to the space station, supposedly. How much technical debt does this company have? So, where are you getting money to do all this? Aside from the contracts. As a software engineer, don't remind me of technical debt. Apologies. I'm very, very curious about this. How does this company do all that with no profit, with no revenue? Technical debt, when your renders have outpaced your actual design and hardware. Nice, goalie. That's all. Once again, I've seen some stuff, man. Seen some stuff covering space news for the past freaking 10 years. I've seen some stuff. All right? I'm just starting to get very skeptical of people, of companies that have been like, oh, yeah, well, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We have the tools. We have the talent. We're going to do it next year. Yeah, next year. Yep. What date? Oh, don't worry about it. You know, just grow it on the money tree. Yeah. In terms of money, well, we don't have that. So that's cool that we saw some tangible progress there. But let me put it to you like this. The vast majority of that video is 3D renders. Just putting it out there. It looks like Thales Alenia has made some progress on building their modules for them. Wait a minute. They're not even building the... You know what? I don't know if I want to answer. I don't know if we want to discuss that on stream. They're not even building the pressure vessels for the modules, like arguably one of the most difficult parts. Got to pull the Rain Warren size exorcism to rid Axiom of all their demons. I trust Axiom to build their station in suits, and whatever more, then I have faith in Avio to make the Timu starship. For sure. For sure. Yeah, that's what I mean. No good. And you know what, man? It really sucks. It really sucks that that's what really this has come down to. You know, like companies are promising all this stuff. There was a time where we're like, yeah, that's amazing. And then they did it, right? Like SpaceX is a great example of that, right? You know, Blue with New Shepard. I mean, Blue with New Glenn is getting there, but I think it's safe to say, because Blue posted pictures of their first stage, the next GS2 first stage. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I think it's safe to put Blue in the not pretending, but space is difficult, so it's taking more time than they anticipated group. Fellas, I don't know if you've seen this thing. Look at this bad mother flipper. I don't think Blue's playing games. I think they're for real. I was getting a little worried there for a second, but oh my goodness. Hello. Look at the freaking thermal protection system. Oh my goodness. I love to sing. Oh, no. Let's say we want to go here. It's very nice. Hot take. I'm more excited about their solar cell regolith process project than Nugi. Freaking awesome as New Glenn is. I'm just excited about Blue Alchemist or whatever it's called. Yeah. Yeah, Finn, exactly. That's what I mean, dude. I don't know. Maybe I've gotten a little more cynical in my old age. I'm trying my best here, guys, to not turn into old man yells at cloud when it comes to analysis of things. I find myself falling into that a lot lately. But also at the same time, dude, there was a time where I give these companies the benefit of the doubt, but you know, like that's not what's going on here. Like it's very clear that with Sierra Space, they never really took making Dream Chaser seriously, which just is infuriating to no end. Like, how can I not call it like it is, you know? But then again, you know, if people want to just hear the space news, I got you. See last, please, Enzo. What's up? Why would you need switches on a spacesuit besides for lighting? Being able to control your life support system somehow, Enzo, would probably be a smart thing to do. Yeah. Being able to control that. Yeah, but why do it? That's expensive. And tanks next quarter's earnings. Yeah. You can get the same public sentiment boost with much cheaper renders and cool music. You don't even need to get the license to let people rebroadcast your ad for free. They'll just take the DMCA risk on themselves. Yeah, dude, it's Oculus. I'm really trying to not turn into a cynical jack off about this. Like, is that like I'm trying? It's just Dream Chaser broke EJ, dude. It's started way before this. I started noticing this pattern of horse excrement around the pandemic. Like 2021 is when I started noticing it. 2022, it got worse. Then they canceled Viper, and that was really a turning point. Yeah, clown shoes, man. I just decided to start calling it like I see it, man. And I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's for better or for worse. Do you guys like that? I mean, yeah, Bigelow's another one. Don't become, yeah, exactly, Goldtech. That's what I'm trying to not do. Yeah, they did, Deadbringer. Yeah, Thales Alenia built Cygnus. They built the pressure vessel for Cygnus, dude. Northrop Grumman doesn't really make much of that vehicle for it to have a Northrop Grumman name on it. It's kind of interesting to me. It's all MPLM architecture based. Yes and no. Cygnus is like the MPLMs. These space station modules are much more like Node 1, Node 2. Like, they're much more like USOS modules more than anything, from what I understand. But yeah, I mean, it's all generally the same idea. Don't become like that. Yeah, you're not the first one to say that. I've been frustrated about the good enough mentality in society for a while now. You may remember me talking about it a long time ago. Yeah, looks, I know what, dude, believe me. I get an intense dissatisfaction with stuff like that as well. I understand. But also at the same time, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting dichotomy in spaceflight, because sometimes good enough is what it has to be. You know? Scope creep is real in spaceflight. It's absolutely a thing. You have to be so careful with that, you know? Did you cover the vast September update from 2 days ago? I did not. I did not. I'm trying to stay technical here, guys, but sometimes, sometimes I can't, I have to call out a Clown Fiesta when I see it. Falcon 1 was good enough for what it needed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Oculix, if it's something I've noticed that everyone in the States has that intense dissatisfaction right now. It's just we all have different ways of processing it. You picking up what I'm laying down? We all can see what's going on, but yeah. But anyway, I'm trying not to get too cynical on stream. I'm trying. It's just some of it is trying to be funny, and other is like, okay, what are you doing? You know, like I'm trying to that there's that line of delineation between who's like just funny jokes and being cynical. You know, I'm trying to straddle it, and it's tough. Yeah, I know, Arclex. Yeah. No, I understand. I'm picking up what you're laying down. I think Andrew meant the relativity update. I don't know, did he? Is anyone going to talk about how there's 150 people watching on YouTube? Hey, that's cool. Thanks for watching, guys. I mean, there was a time where I just stayed in the complete technical category, dude. Like, we went, like, Phil Sloss style into things. And I don't know. I'm trying to make sure we don't turn too much into space brain rot. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Phil's the best, man. He's awesome. Dang, YouTube's popping off. Yeah. Shaw. Wait, YouTube's at 150. Hold on. Let's click on Twitch. Which Twitch at? Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Dude. Whoa. That's pretty good. I try to find a good mix of technical analysis, jokes, with a little sprinkle of cynicism on there. Maybe a little bit of brain rot, you know? But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'm trying not to go too far off on the rails, because at the end of the day, guys, like at the end of the day, spaceflight's about the technical details. That's what matter the most, because and that's what I mean when I say you can't fake physics. You can't fake physics. There's only so much you can do. You could sit there and show off so many computer renders, etc., right? Before you have to confront the elephant in the room that is physics. You know, you say you're going to launch something into space. We want to make a launch vehicle that does this, and this. There's only so many investor videos you can put out before people know you're full of crap, right? You're going to eventually have to confront that physics problem. Right, of launching something into space, or building a space station module, or making a spacesuit work, or making a reusable spaceplane work. You're eventually going to have to, and if you don't, you got big problems. Yeah, the Akin's laws of spacecraft design, of course. Oh, fellas, we got some breaking news coming from SpaceX. Whoa, 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 Mason. The part of the story I don't like is where people at Sierra Space gave up after commercial crew. They didn't put posters up or anything. They just sat in their warehouse like goons and waited for that CRS-2 contract. That CEO's got to think you got a space plane. You got a responsibility. If your plane doesn't work, you don't work for a few years and call it quits. You'll get your butt out there and you launch that freaking thing into space. I think it's time to play dodgeball. It's called The Puppy Who Lost His Way. See, that's what I mean about just sprinkling that little bit of brain rot in there. But you got if you don't know what that quote's from, you know what I mean. It's true. You want some of this? You want some of this NASA money? Look at all this NASA money. That NASA money belongs to that contract. Ooh, they don't got to know about it. It could be our NASA money. No NASA money will ever be our NASA money. Ooh, that wasn't very nice. How about you, Sideburns? You want some of this NASA money? You do? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sweet. Make sure you do something with it. Anyway. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just here. I just work here, okay? All right, let's go. We got an update from SpaceX, man. Starship's 11th flight test. Scheduled for October 13th, 2025. That is a Monday. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. You know what the problem is? The best engineers are getting paid to engineer an algorithm for engagement on social media platforms. Oh, God, Ruin, don't even get me started, man. Don't do that. Don't get me started. Oh, God. You skipped the video. Oh. Here you go. Here you go, son.
Minus 5 minutes and counting. Expecting propellant closeout on both vehicles. And exactly no issues going into today's launch attempt. 5.
Ooh, ooh, ooh!
3,
I've never seen those
2,
before.
1.
Vehicle pitching downrange. Max Q. Stage separation.
Oh, that's so good, dude.
Quick startup.
Wait a minute, they had a buoy cam for...
Ship engine cut
No
off.
way, dude!
Ship SM's entered payload deploy prep.
They had a buoy cam for flight 10. I didn't even notice that.
Ship's at payload deploy.
Clink.
There goes another one.
Relight demo startup.
Starship is something.
Starship landing burn startup.
What the hell? Oh, dude, that's badass, man. Dude, I saw it. We saw that live. It's still good, man. I still love it. That's really good. I really like that. Oh, Trent Reznor in space. Can we just
Start up.
Starship is something.
Starship landing current start up.
Bro. Freaking rules, dude. Oh man, that thing is cool. See? Look at all the hardware. You see all the hardware? Not Pretender. Not Pretenders. See all this? See all the hardware? See that? Yeah, see, that's what I mean. See the difference? Do you see the difference that I'm talking about? There's no CG here, no investor video. This is all footage from the last test flight. There's no CGI here. You see that? That's pretty neat. I like that.
Minus 5 minutes and counting. Expected propellant closeout on both vehicles.
Can I see the re-entry again? I just want to see that one.
Starship is something.
Starship landing current start up.
Dude, that's so good. Unreal, dude. Okay, also I wanted to go back over here. There's a shot in Mission Control that all right, let's see. What do we got here? So that's a shot of the umbilical. That looks like the BQD if I had to guess. Is that inside the chines, dude? That's inside of the fuel, one of the fuel tanks. That's looking up at the booster. That's on the tower. That's that upward shot. They already showed that. That's the SQD. There's SQD movement right there. That's a close-up of the ship quick disconnect from the tower. That's your tank farm. This is all booster quick disconnect stuff over here, guys. It's just the same image repeating. That's inside of the payload bay. That's inside of the payload bay. We saw that shot during the live stream. These are shots underneath the payload bay. If I'm... no, I can't... It's hard to say, dude. I can't really tell. I'm not sure what that is. It's something. Enhance. Dude. This is righteous. Is that the space Pope? Yeah, of course.
5, 4.
Oh. That's not the booster quick disconnect. That's the cameras for the Raptor spin start quick disconnect. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, okay. There's not the right amount of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are more to the left? That's not the same camera. Unless those are 3 views of the same thing. Yeah. The top screen is cut off. Is it? Yeah, it is. All right, I see it up there. Yeah. So that means we have rows of 6. So 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21. Unless there's a camera up there on the left that's not. Interesting. That could be cameras going into the fuel line. Well, there's not enough of them unless... Interesting. Columns of 5, 6, 6, and 3. Yeah, that would make sense. We don't know what's on that top left monitor. That's cool, dude. Wild, dude.
Five, 4, 3.
There's more on that bottom monitor also. Damn, dude. What a complicated machine this is. Some of these views, I can't even figure out what it is. I think they're all different shots inside of the payload bay. So that's definitely a payload bay shot. So is that. So is that, because you see the dumb links are in there. There's another one right there. These are internal fuel tanks. That's inside the fuel and or LOX tank. It's hard to say. Actually, no. There's a pipe coming out of it. I'm not even sure. What do you guys think? What's that one? There's a COPV right there. I know that. That's definitely COPV. So that's got to be... These cameras got to be inside the chines, dude, on Super Heavy. It could be a shot of the header tank. Yeah, that's a good... that's a good call. Them cameras are looking into the engine bay. Yeah. 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 That could be above this... That could be above the Starlink satellites looking at the headers at the front of the ship. These... See, it's hard to say because you got Super Heavy stuff right here, right? And it just kind of is just all different camera angles. But that looks like it's inside the chines on Super Heavy. Goalie might be right. The red stripe is the electric thrust vector control. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I'm surprised they put this footage out here. Yeah. That's super freaking cool, though. Look, I mean, look at all the internal cameras that they have. They ain't gonna miss a beat if something goes wrong with this thing.
2.
It's not high def enough to matter. Yeah, right. What are the screens all the way on the right showing? So these ones are a little bit easier. That's the tower shot. That's looking up the tower. That's looking down at the OLM. That's looking at the SQD. That's looking at the ship quick disconnect arm. That's a close-up shot of the SQD. That's the tank farm right there. That's the deck of the OLM. I have no idea what that one is because it's grayed out because there's so much. It's in the clouds. It's the berm PTZ, whatever the heck that means. If I had to guess, that's the berm that's right there. Well, this is gonna sound really stupid. It's the berm it's in that big cloud right there, right? So if you look at Starship, right? See the berm right there? This is a deflector to make sure that any flames that get shot out and smoke shoots up over the tank farm and doesn't hit the tank farm. I'll bet you the PTZ is that right there. There's a little dot right there. That looks like tower and boost in the shadow from the berm. Yeah, Chrome. I think that's what that is. I mean, those cameras are super easy to make out. Like these other ones, I have no freaking idea, dude. I thought that was just a repeating shot, but no, those could be engine cameras. It's possible. I think the one that you said is on the OLM is not actually. There's no camera on the OLM. This is not on the OLM. That's on the ground. It's on the ground. It's the one they showed right at liftoff. It's that one. Which I'll admit is a really, really cool shot. I'll admit, that's pretty sick. Those are the engine cams from the OLM Raptor quick disconnect. That's what everybody seems to think, Thousand. Yeah. Yeah, this shot looks ridiculous. That doesn't look real. That camera's down there in that slosh pit over there. It's like right at the tip of my mouse cursor. The berm is right here. And a lot of the other cameras are just on the towers. Based on what failed last flight, what would they look at for this flight? That's what I'd want to see. Yeah. What we do.
Vehicle pitching downrange. Max Q. Miko, ship ignition. Stage separation.
What? Sorry, I got distracted. Dude! Flight 10 buoy cam!
Ship engine cutoff. Ship SM's entered payload deploy prep.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Ship's at payload deploy.
There goes another one.
Relight demo startup. Starship is something. Starship landing current startup.
Dude, that rules, man. Oh, that's so good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm hype. I'm sorry. I was getting fired up there. Something blew up in the engine bay. Reignition for landing. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and guess it. Something came off that probably had to do with that. I don't think anything blew up, dude.
There goes another one.
Relight demo startup.
I don't see nothing.
Starship is something. Starship landing current startup.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me, man. Go back to the shot of the belly flop while it's on someone's monitor. What's on the other monitor? See. Flap cam. You're talking about this? That's just a telemetry readout, dude. It's just SpaceX's program doing their. It's one of SpaceX's programs, man. Everything is done. All their software is done in house, dude. So, like, I know it seems like I'm being vague. That's part of SpaceX's software, telemetry software. If I had to guess, I have no idea. Look at what he's pointing at. He's. What's the hardware in front of the keyboard? The comm loops. That's your radio loop. So that's the countdown. Those are the countdown nets. Look at how many nets they have. They have a lot. I mean, he's pointing at Hold on, let me back it up just a little bit. It looks like he's pointing around the catch pin, if I had to guess. I'm pretty sure F1 uses the same stuff, Steve. Yeah, maybe. Is that a weld seam? He is pointing at the area around the catch pin. That's my guess, dude. They're probably looking at how the catch pins fared through re-entry, if I had to guess. Yeah, he's modern a lot. He's pointing at a UFO. Yeah. I want to be in that office building LCC during a launch only 2 miles away. I would love to, Kev. I would do it. Ruin. That's awesome. Cool channel, EJ. Thanks, Steve. Right on. I just commentate on what's going on in the spaceflight business, and then we play STEM games and Kerbal and teach people about it. Also, I'm fanboying out that realistically they're pointing because the camera crew wanted a good shot. Dude, you've got to be kidding me. Guys, everyone should go see this thing once. You should go see it. Dude, I talk. I get paid to talk. I'm a commentator. I get paid to talk. When I went down there and saw Flight 7 and saw the booster get caught, that took my breath away. I had nothing to say. The footage is out there of me and Gene just sitting on the roof, and we're just like, okay. Okay. Oh, look, it slowed down. Oh, they caught it. What just happened? You know, like, has the NSF guys had decent success keeping equipment in the shadow of the OLM legs? We don't get that close, Steve. We don't put the cameras that close because they will get destroyed. You will never find them, dude. They'll get vaporized, blown out to sea. We stay out in the dunes. That's where everybody does. And it's not like, you know, like, oh, well, we don't want to risk in the cameras, dude. It's Das. If it's the shot, he'll put it out there. But we keep them a little ways back, dude. You're never gonna find your camera if you keep it close. Yeah, Danger Dune, dude. I remember one time, Flight 8, I was setting up cameras at Danger Dune with Jack and a couple of other people, and I kind of stopped for a second, and I'm just, dude, Danger Dune is way closer than like the camera angle makes it out to be, dude. It's really close. Okay, let me put it this way. It's close for a vehicle that makes 15 million pounds of thrust. It's about regular distance away from like a Falcon 9 launch or something, right? I'm just thinking, like, man, if that thing went off and you were standing here, they would never find a piece of you. Like, that's even at the Dune. At the Dune, a lot of the NSF cameras that are up there, they're armored up. Yeah. Jay DeShetler's camera is really armored up. It's inside of basically a metal box. It's a real big pain in the butt to lug that thing into the dunes. But the shot that it gets is pretty good, you know. You should read the plans for Flight 11 now. Yeah, but I don't want to stop looking at the pictures, Daddy. I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy. Not now, damn it. Those buoy cams aren't glorified kiddie pools. No, they're waypoint markers for like sailboat racing and stuff, if I'm understanding correctly. This is why you need more monitors. I will feel bad for NSF when there's an abort to the dunes. The first time we set up the Dune camera, I'm like, that's what I said to Das. We were setting it up, and I put it up on the tripod, and I was like, Das, if there's a divert, we're never finding this camera. And he looked at me and he said, oh, yeah, I know, but the shot will be mint. And I'm like, that's a good point. That's a good point. You know, that's why they pay you the big bucks. You know, he straight up did a Das. He said, well, so what? Who cares? The shot will be amazing. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. You know, you drive a hard bargain, sir. You know. Look back at the hypersonic maneuvering. That was my favorite part of Flight 10, Misty. That was my absolute favorite part. Rocking that vehicle back and forth like that. Holy crap, how did it not explode? That just blew my mind, man. When they modulated the wings and got the thing to do this at Mach like 7, holy crap. The fact that it didn't just rip itself to shreds and crash, just that's impressive, dude. That is impressive. Especially when, dude, there's a big chunk missing. It's a big chunk missing out of the back. I don't know if you guys watched Flight 10. Plasma ripped a hole. Probably about, I don't know, what would you guys say, 2 meters wide in the back wing, and the thing still landed on target somehow. Like, not every day you get a hole this big in your freaking wing, and it's just like, come on, I got this. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Even though it was only a 0.5 G maneuver, okay. It's not a 5G maneuver, but it's not. That is not necessarily an acceleration so much in one direction or another. So if you have an accelerometer on the vehicle, it's rotating, and if your accelerometer's in the middle of the vehicle, it's not going to pick up much on the G-force, dude. It really isn't. It really depends on where your accelerometer is, right? Or if it's averaging like accelerometers at the front and back of the vehicle. But then again, that makes no sense. Why would you do that, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's a use case for it. Hellfist, that's much more about strain locally on the vehicle. That they're trying to break Starship in half like an egg, with a destroyed thermal protection system and a blown up aft section with a hole in the wing, and the thing still was like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. That is much more about localized force on the vehicle. That test was trying to rip the thing in half. They were trying to, or they were trying to validate some flight model. We know SpaceX is all about that nowadays. Unequal forces on different parts of the vehicle. Yes, exactly. That was a stress test. That was the can crusher, right? Like that they have at Massey's. That was that, but in flight, which is bananas to me that it didn't rip itself to shreds. And then it did that. And then it did that right after it, dude. Dude, there's many a strain gauges on this thing, Hellfish. I know that. I was told there's strain gauges all over that thing. The reason why they're testing strain is because they want to see how the thermal protection system moves during reentry. So they beat the snot out of that thing, and it's just like punching bag. It's just like, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, there's the water. You know. I haven't read the Flight 11 page yet. I just found out what the chems were in Discord. Yeah. All right. Well, let's read the thing. Woody Woodpecker reference. Seriously, though. Starship's like a freaking cartoon character. Like, why won't you die? Nope. Could do this all day. It's badass, man. I mean, how old are you? I'm 37. I'm hardly old. I started to feel bad for Ship 37 when they did that. Yeah. Did they do S-turns? Basically, yeah. Why does Starship look so clean in this shot during the belly flop? The thermal protection system isn't clean. The stainless steel, though, seems to have fared pretty well. Yeah, right, Trey? What did the Indian Ocean say to the face? Slack! YouTube chat's going off. I love it. All right. Yeah, right, Enko, that's awesome, right? Younger than me, but nice pull. Graham wouldn't understand. Yep. And you're gonna do it again. Yep. What do you give odds on the first ship catch? I think they'll do it. I think it'll do it. Yeah, it'll do it. Guys, it'll make it through reentry. If they get a good entry interface, like i.e. nothing pops and it's, you know, the thing doesn't spin out of control and Turks and Caicos itself, yeah, they'll be able to get it near the tower. I can guarantee you that. They can get it near the tower. I know they can get it near the tower. Because they've been getting it near these dang buoys out in the middle of the ocean. They can get it near the tower. Now, whether the thing will be able to maneuver in and catch, I'd say they could get close. They could get close, but the thing is, and here, okay, we'll read the 11th test, and I want to say this before we read the 11th test, just to see if I'm understanding this correctly. Look, all the good reentries, so ship 29, ship 31, ship 37, the ones that landed on target, so to speak, they all had burn through the wings in one way, shape, or form. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not necessarily a good thing. But you got to remember, in this industry, it's about... So how SpaceX works is they'll do 1,000 freaking simulations. And they'll put all these different simulations together, these different 3D sims, all together of Starship coming in and getting caught. Starship coming in and getting caught, or Starship doing a buoy landing, right? And they'll kind of average all that simulation data together to make what's called a flight model. Now, SpaceX's flight model is theoretical. The only way you're going to prove your theoretical flight model is if you fly, right? So, Bill Gerstenmaier, who's the head of flight reliability for SpaceX, he's an ex-NASA engineer. He worked on the shuttle for a long time, right? He was saying that their models weren't exactly right. Now, when he was saying that, he was talking about the models for Super Heavy, right? But I can only guess that if the Super Heavy models are off, their Starship models probably aren't dialed in. Their Starship flight models probably aren't dialed in fully. 3 entries is probably not good enough to get it exact, to get that sub-centimeter precision that they're talking about. It's probably not close enough, which is why I'm going to go ahead and guess. This is a guess from EJ. I'm going to guess that they're going to try and catch another booster, and they're going to try to not beat the snot out of Ship 38 and try to get it to do a precision landing with no TPS tests. That's my guess. They need more data on flight catching. Or on reentry. You need more. Because there's no way, if they couldn't get their model with Super Heavy right after flight 10 or flight 9, right? If their data model was off with flight 9, their ship model is not even close. Now, what do I mean about ship models and models? So, like, theoretically, there's a perfect way to get this booster to fly. If everything goes perfect, obviously it comes back to the tower. If everything goes perfect, the ship comes back down and gets caught. There is a right way to do that. In aerospace engineering, there's these things called Navier-Stokes equations, and you can go read about them if you want to get bored, right? But no, Navier-Stokes equations are, if somebody can solve that, they're unsolved. They're unsolved equations. We don't know how to solve them. Now, that's going to sound ridiculous in this day and age, right? But what Navier-Stokes equations basically, and this is just with aerodynamics, guys, might I add, it's the math for figuring out if something is going to fly correctly, if something is going to fly, period. To this day, we really don't have a good way of doing that. We don't have a computational way of getting it 100% right every time. Whoever figures that problem out is going to make a lot of money. Whoever solves Navier-Stokes equations. Now, with that all being said, you can get close. You can get close. You're never going to predict 100% how something is going to fly, but you can get close with sims, with CFD sims, etc., etc. Now, your CFD sim is never going to be as high fidelity as the real thing because figuring out a way to get bajillions of atoms, to interact with a flight structure of air molecules to interact with a flight structure in a 3D environment is like nigh impossible. You'd melt a computer doing that. The Sims fidelity is toned down. So it's not exactly right. So what SpaceX does to compensate for this problem is just do a ton of sims, do simulations, 24/7, 365. I guarantee you they're prototyping like 1,000 different Starship landing scenarios right now as we speak on SpaceX's mainframes. They're probably doing sims all the time. My guess is that it's something similar to how FSD makes a 3D environment. So Tesla FSD, that's my guess. But Tesla FSD has a the millions of Teslas that are driving around feeding it data all the time. The SpaceX simulations are not feeding, they're not feeding a lot of data, right? So but you only have like a certain amount of reentry profiles to really
Discovery, go at throttle.
use as your data set here to compare to simulations. And that means your simulation model is going to be way off, right? But SpaceX with their prototyping will hone it in. They just got to hone it even more. Because once again, you can't do a 3D simulation or do the math for how something is going to fly and prove it definitively. You have to have flight data to corroborate your fudged math, so to speak. That's the plain English way of saying it. Navier-Stokes equations are way more complicated than this, and I understand that, but that's the gist of it. So SpaceX has probably thousands of simulations for Starship landings, but only three of the flight data ones, right? Three of the flight data ones, they can only use those because Flight 7 and Flight 8 are not. Flight 9, they're not. That's not good reentry data, so they wouldn't use it, right? Because the ship spun out of control, right? So you don't have a lot of flight data with your reentry, so they're going to need more. Can these simulation rigs run Crisis? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Sub-centimeter is probably fairly hard to do without an RTK base station transmitting corrections to the ship's GPS. Imagine it's a bit hard to get a fixed point of reference out on a buoy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Near infinite variables, but the margin of error is good enough. I think they got enough data now from flights to get close with the models. I think they want an analog test here, Bob. Not analog meaning like it's not digital. A good just baseline test. And I don't know, a ship catch. Okay, so if it was me, provided that Flight 11 goes perfectly, I would want some tests with Block 3. My gut's telling me two tests with the Block 3 ship and booster, doing 2 re-entries, and then go to catch the damn thing. That's what I would want. I think that's enough. Considering the Block 3 ship isn't all that much different than Block 2, keep in mind, every subsequent version of Starship that we see fly none of these vehicles are the same. None of them. There's a bajillion changes between each vehicle, whether it be plumbing, vacuum jacketed lines, engines, Raptor 3 versus Raptor 2, flat position, thermal protection system tests. Like, they're all different, right? But once again, SpaceX does that on purpose because they're diversifying their data set. And once they get enough good data to prove like that, they take the simulation data and corroborate it against the flight data, and they come up with an amalgam there will basically say like, yeah, this will work. This will work every time if you do it this way. That's what they did with Falcon 9. And Falcon 9 almost never has problems. Knock on wood. I mean, there are some things here and there, right? Well, Lord, hey, tier 275 month resub. Thank you. 2 flights within parameters, then catch. Yeah, exactly. You need more data on entry. Now, with that being said, let's read the article and let's see if I'm right. Alrighty. The 11th flight of Starship is preparing to launch as soon as Monday, October 13th. The launch window will open at 6:15 p.m. Central Time. A live webcast of the flight test will begin about 30 minutes before liftoff, which you can watch here on X at SpaceX. You can also watch the webcast on the XTV app. As is the case with all developmental testing, the schedule is dynamic and likely to change, so be sure to check in here and stay tuned on our X account for updates. The upcoming flight will build on the successful The upcoming flight will build on the success. Why did this all get dark all of a sudden? The upcoming flight will build on the successful demonstration from Starship's 10th flight test, with flight experiments gathering data for the next generation Super Heavy booster, stress testing Starship's heat shield, and demonstrating maneuvers that will mimic the upper stage's final approach for a future return to landing site. The booster on this flight previously flew on Flight 8 and will launch with 24 flight-proven Raptor engines. Its primary test objective will be demonstrating unique landing burn engine configuration planned to be used on the next generation Super Heavy. And it will attempt this while on a trajectory to an offshore landing point. I got the booster thing wrong. That's no... Oh, man, I saw that booster fly. Crap. "24 flight-proven Raptors, though. That's pretty neat. Super Heavy will ignite 13 engines at the start of the landing burn and then transition to a new configuration with 5 engines running for the divert phase. Previously done with 3 engines. The planned baseline for V3 Super Heavy will use 5 engines during the section of the burn responsible for fine-tuning the booster's path, adding additional redundancy for spontaneous engine shutdowns. The booster will then transition to its 3 center engines for the end of the landing burn, entering a full hover while still above the ocean surface, followed by a shutdown and dropping into the Gulf of America. The primary goal on the flight test is to measure the real-world vehicle dynamics as engines shut down while transitioning between different phases. "13 engines, 5 engines, and then 3 engines. So that's the inner ring and the center 3, right? And then half of the inner ring of Raptors shut off. So it's just 5. So it's every other engine and then the 3 in the center, and then those shut off too. Dude, that thing is going to stop dead in its tracks, man. Yeah, that thing is gonna, it's gonna look like it hits the brakes. I mean, because, dude, it already, with their 13-3 engine burn, it already looks like it stops. 13-5-3 is gonna, the booster's just gonna go, it's just gonna stop. Watch, it'll really, this thing will, you know, we call it a suicide burn, right? Yeah, this is gonna get real, it's gonna look weird. Hard park the booster. That's right. Hard park the booster. Looks like 2 engines from the inner ring. That looks like 13-5-3. Or is it? Yeah. No, I didn't say that right. That was my fault. So it's the outer ring, 3 engines, and then 11 of the engines on the outer ring shut down. So it's 3 engines in the center, 1 up top, 1 down the bottom, and then the 2 others shut down. Okay, it should look about the same. Yeah, you're right. The Starship upper stage will target multiple in-space objectives, including the deployment of 8 Starlink simulators, similar in size to next-generation Starlink satellites. Starlink simulators will be on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship and are expected to demise upon re-entry. Yeah, Steve, that's my guess too. A relight of a single Raptor engine while in space is also planned. Flight test includes several examples and operational changes focused on enabling Starship's upper stage to return to launch site on future flights. For re-entry, tiles have been removed from Starship to intentionally stress test vulnerable areas across the vehicle. See, I don't understand that. Yeah, I'm wrong again. I don't understand why you would do that. You'd need a good baseline, but maybe they're waiting for V3 to do that. Several of the missing tiles are in areas where tiles are bonded to the vehicle and do not have a backup ablative layer. To mimic the path the Starship will take on future flights returning to Starbase, the final phase of Starship's trajectory on Flight 11 includes a dynamic braking maneuver and will test subsonic guidance algorithms prior to a landing, burn, and splashdown in the Indian Ocean. It's the last V2 ship, yeah. Yeah, why would you baseline V2 when you're already making V3? So that pretty much sounds like an exact copy of that sounds like an exact copy of Flight 10, minus the TPS test, just remove tiles. EJ, the reason for testing remove tiles is to validate that it can survive even without some tiles. I think that's been conclusively proven no good. Don't you think? Well, yeah, as long as they get a good entry interface and, you know, even if it burns through, it's clearly not an issue. Like, unless it burns through something super important, but the burn through on a stainless steel ship is way different than it is on a, on an aluminum ship. That's what I mean, no good. That's been proven. But yeah, it seems like just a straight up copy of the 10th test minus some TPS experiments, thermal protection system. Are we gonna get a TPS report? I don't know. Depends if you took my stapler or not. Flight 10, but with a slightly different booster splashdown engine config. Yeah, so I was basically wrong in my predictions. Like wrong across the board. But yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense why they're doing what they're doing. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no, that's dumb. Like, maybe I just want to see booster 15 again. I saw that thing land, man. I'll look into that. Banking maneuver would be cool, yeah. Plenty of chances with the V3 booster. Yep. I remember this. You know what's very interesting, guys? I just said I remember this. Who was a tank watcher in like, or just a space flight fanatic in like 2018, 2019? Do you guys remember when SpaceX expended their entire Block 4 fleet of boosters? This is what that feels like. Now, I want to give some reference here. So SpaceX was reusing boosters pretty routinely in the late 2010s, 2017, 2018, 2019. They were reusing boosters. They had some boosters with 3 to 4 flights on them. Pretty good stuff. 2019 rolls around. Bangabundu rolls around, the first Block 5 booster. I believe it was 1040, I think. 1041, something like that, right? And what SpaceX did when the Block 5 boosters, which were really, that's the current iteration of boosters that are flying right now. There have been upgrades. It should really be Block 6 at this point, in my opinion, but whatever. SpaceX basically expended their entire Block 4 fleet. They had like probably 20 boosters. Maybe not 20, like 10. They just got rid of, they launched, I remember there was like a period of time with Falcon 9 where it did not reuse anything. In like 2018, 2019, they didn't do nothing. They expended their entire fleet. And during every cast, they were like, remember, this is an expendable flight, so we will not be performing a downrange landing or RTLS today. I remember how crappy that felt. Like, you're like, oh, I've seen this booster, or I saw this booster fly, oh no. And that felt really bad. And then 2019, 2020, 2021 start rolling around, and now we're at the point where Falcon 9s fly so much nobody even knows. Nobody even cares what, like, unless it's like a life leading, no one cares. Like, oh, a booster, oh, this booster's only been reused 20 times. Like, all right. So what I'm saying is basically it opened up the floodgates for booster reuse. That's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. They even got rid of ship 26. Yeah, good riddance. You can check it in the Rocket Garden with this ship 15. Oh no, 1058 was lost. What will we do? Right? The BTS cam locked up. Yeah, that's because Brimo kicked the Brimo kicked the wire to the BTS cam when she came in. That's funny. So you could see Brimo in the camera. That's awesome. Have you been to many Falcon 9 launches in the past? Yeah, Dan, I was my first Falcon 9 launch was Orbcom 2. The first landing. I saw Orbcom 2 down in Florida. First landing. I saw CRS 9. I don't know if that was a landing or I forget. I saw CRS 9. What else? What other Falcon 9s have I seen? I don't even remember. I saw the Falcon Heavy demo flight. Falcon Heavy demo flight. Saw that one. That was awesome. I covered that with Das. That was before Das worked at NSF. It was before any of us worked at NSF. I've seen Starlink missions. I'm not sure which ones. I don't remember. I've seen a couple of Starlinks. I saw the NG-20 launch. I was there for that. I think NG-20 was the last Falcon 9 launch that I saw. That was in early 2024. CRS-9 was an LZ-1 landing, so I've seen that one, yeah. CRS-9 was the second drone ship? No, CRS-8... CRS-9, I think... Yeah, no, that was an RTLS. CRS-8 was a drone ship landing. That was the first drone ship landing. Yes, ship. If Starship, if SpaceX has their way, is going to launch more than Falcon 9. In fact, yeah. If SpaceX has their way and does what they want to do with Starship, Starship should theoretically be able to launch in 1 month what Falcon 9 does in a year. If you really wanted to know. They're trying to achieve airline-like operations. How many times does a 737 or an A320 fly a day? Multiple times. How many times do they fly in a week? Hundreds. Well, not hundreds, but you get the idea. What other launches have I seen? I saw the NG-11 mission. I saw Antares. I saw the Atlas OA-5 mission. So, you want to hear something funny? I've seen Cygnus launch on 3 different launch vehicles in person. That's what I mean about Cygnus being inevitable. Have they ever done a resupply launch from Vandenberg? No. The 1 hour turnaround target for Super Heavy is wild. Lex, I think they're going to do it, man. I really do. I'm not just trying to SpaceX fanboy out, you know? I'm really not. I really think from a technical standpoint that they are going to get it. They will get this. Especially with the booster. Dude, we're in the 12th flight. They're already reusing them. Actually, like, my biggest, like, kind of like, I don't know how you're going to solve that, but I'm sure you'll come up with something, is just the propellant. How are you going to come up with this much propellant to launch this many boosters? I mean, you know, a lot of people are saying that, but a lot of people say that, like, wow, it's not possible with today's, you know, there's not enough liquid oxygen in the United States. But bro, SpaceX is a bajillion-dollar company. 15,000 strong. That's ridiculous. You think they can't build air separators or build their own freaking LOX plant? Well, they are. They are. We know the answer to that question. What I'm wondering, dude, is that going to be enough? Having an ASU, is that going to be enough? Dude, you're going to need fuel capacity that rivals in quantities to like a major international airport. We seem to be able to do that pretty well with airplanes. But airplanes aren't cryogenic propellants now, are they? At that, they could upgrade their entire Starlink fleet in a year. Their bottleneck would be building new sats. Yeah, right? Like, I think that is the biggest challenge, right? Because, okay, let's think about this for a second. How far, theoretically, would SpaceX be out from doing a propellant transfer demonstration, right? Not like everyone, like every news article that we read, dudes, every single one of those news articles is like, well, SpaceX has to refuel the Starship on orbit. That's an unproven technology. Do we really think we can't do that? I'm not worried about the fuel or LOX transfer, guys. I ain't worried about that. How are you going to get two starships next to each other in space? Logistically speaking, how do you do that? Going to need multiple pads. Well, SpaceX is already working on that. Now you need the propellant for all those pads. You need two fully operational Block 3 pad version 2, that pad at Boca Chica. And they are making progress towards that, right? But now you need all the liquid oxygen, everything ready to go. And not only that, you need to be able, it's not just about, your tank farm has to have the capacity, right? Your tank farm has to have the capacity to be able to, if you have a 24-hour scrub or a 20-minute scrub or a 30-minute scrub, right? You need to be able to replenish the vehicle indefinitely. This is a difficult mission, getting two starships up there and getting them close to each other. That is an insanely hard thing to do. The propellant demo, that's the easy part. Once you got them docked together, it's SpaceX. They'll figure it out. They have plenty of experience putting two spacecraft together. But getting them next to each other, that's the hard part. And all the propellant. What if you launch one and the other one scrubs? What if there's bad weather? What if there's a freak lightning storm? Right? Or there's a boat in the range or something. Right? You have to wait. Now that ship has to loiter. Right? And now you have to get this ship ready to go as quickly as possible. Right? That's why Starship has that 40-second hold gate where they can just sit there at 40 seconds to fix a problem and the vehicle can stay like ready to go indefinitely. You can see that they're already planning for this, but that's still going to be a difficult thing to do. I'm more wondering how that's going to get done, right? Than the stupid propellant transfer. That's going to be easy. They can load propellant into Starship in less than an hour. Well, almost less than an hour. It's almost as fast as Falcon 9, which is bananas. SpaceX has plenty of experience with commodity transfer. Now, I get it. That's on the ground. I understand. It's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, it's really not. Same idea.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Right? How are you going to logistically get all the propellants that you need to do 16 refuels for the HLS? Like, and I'm not saying that like it can't be done. I actually genuinely want to know. I know SpaceX has the industrial capacity to do that. I'm more saying, man, I can't wait to see what you guys cook up because I know you'll do it. Pad 2 transfer will also be faster. See what I mean, man? They can move propellants in quantity here. The in-flight refueling isn't going to be they're going to figure that out, no problem. I've often theorized that the SQD, fellas, is a prototype. Is a prototype for, you know, the SQD It looks like a squid almost. The ship quick disconnect, the thing that they use to fill the ship. It has like locators. It has they look like trailer hitches, to be honest, to locate itself on Starship and dock. Like, you notice that they can just take the SQD and it just docks to Starship automatically. Like, they don't need a guy up there tightening an explosive bolt. It could just hydraulically clamp to the side of the vehicle. That's a prototype docking port for in-flight, for propellant transfer, if you ask me. Like, I mean, I could be wrong, right? But why wouldn't it be, right? Like, why wouldn't that be? It's more of a robotic arm than an umbilical. Bingo. That can't be a coincidence, Phil. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's there. Like, the propellant transfer, I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that. They'll have that figured out. That's the easy part. Getting two starships into orbit and next to each other and being able to achieve rendezvous proximity operations and docking. That's going to be the hard part. And even then, SpaceX has tons of experience there, man. In the future, do you think they may even do payload transfer on a ship? Misty, I want to live in a world where starships have robotic arms in their payload bay, like the space shuttle, and you could get away with doing that, but I don't think that's on SpaceX's radar for some time. Elon said docking will be the easy part. Yeah, spoiled the RPOD thing, like the docking part. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. What I'm trying to say is that getting two starships up there and balancing that logistically between operations at the Cape and Starbase is going to be, once again, I don't want people to get confused. I'm not saying that's an insurmountable thing. I'm not saying, oh, they'll never figure it out, and trying to sound like some crazy skeptic. That is going to be a hard problem, but SpaceX, I mean, what? It's going to be a hard problem. Starship's the most complicated vehicle ever designed, ever. Dare I say it's even more complicated than the space shuttle, right? 33 engines. If SpaceX is willing to tackle a problem like getting 33 engines to relight, right, and making it look pretty freaking easy while we're at it, here, wait a minute, pick related. These are hard problems to solve, but I think they'll do it. I'm just really curious how they're going to do that. I think that is more of a long lead item than even getting the propellant transfer figured out. That's what I'm trying to tell you. SpaceX can do this one at a time, but can you do it 2 at a time? Can you do it 5 at a time? Because that's what you're going to need to do if they want Starship to do what they want, what the stakeholder expectations state. These are difficult problems, right? I'm really interested to see how they're going to solve them, and I think they will. Yeah, exactly, Cyborg. It's not the first rodeo. Yeah. Look at this look at this, guys. I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, right? This is an article that was published in the New York Times. Flying Machines Which Do Not Fly is an editorial published in the New York Times on October 9th, 1903. The article incorrectly predicted it would take 1 to 10 million years for humanity to develop an operational flying machine. It was written in response to Samuel Langley's failed airplane experiment 2 days prior. 69 days after the article's publication, American brothers Orville and Wilbur Wright successfully achieved the first heavier-than-air flight on December 17, 1903. 69 days. Nice. Whoops. These guys were actually playing KSP in real life. Brother, look at that, man. Yeah, struts. Gotta have struts, man. I've never been to Kitty Hawk. No, Fluffy. KSP science mode. Yep, yep. What were early wings made out of? Fabric. Fabric, Mock. Yeah. It's a wooden frame with fabric wrapped around it. Think like a poster board. Like a, actually an artist canvas would probably be like the thing that you would paint on. Like it has wood behind it and you'd wrap the canvas around the wood. That, imagine flying that. Yeah, that's what they did. Basically a kite. Yep. It's a kite with a motor strapped to the back to it. That's a good way to put that, dudes. Notice no ailerons. The Wright Flyer used wing warping to roll. Interesting. Yeah. Fellas like, yeah, RE SpaceX guys, I'm no skeptic. I'm a huge fanboy. They'll absolutely do it. I'm like super curious to see how they're going to, and I guarantee you they'll post it in a freaking message or freaking like, is this a blog? This is a blog. This is a blog post. The blog post that we probably shouldn't call it that. That's super dated, right? But I guarantee you we'll figure it out. Laying fabric wings sucks. Actually, yeah, fellas, guys, the crazy thing is that it was pretty much like that, fabric wings through the 1920s. And then once you get to the late 20s, early 30s, so they switched to like mono wing designs. So you get stuff like I mean, this is not the end-all be-all of examples, but you get stuff like the P-36. The P-36 was wild. That was radically different for its design because it uses what's called a monowing design. Somebody came along and said, man, aluminum's light. We should make planes out of aluminum. I don't know who did it first, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But you start seeing the monowing designs. They started to get away from canvas biplane wings and stuff. What makes two ships docking even more straightforward is the fact that SpaceX controls both vehicles. Sure, Matt. Yeah, yeah. It was the French. Don't give them credit. Can we just pretend it was like England or something or us? We do things first. We like doing that. Don't give them credit. Then they'll get bold and then they'll be like, no, all of the plane ideas are ours. You cannot have them. The Germans did it first? Yeah, that makes sense. Experimental monoplane developed by Junkers. Cool. All right, sweet. As long as it wasn't the French. I'm just kidding, guys. I love you. You're all right. I really wish I had a Starship tile. What, like this one? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That was a 3D printed fake. This one's real. There you go. What? What? You have anything lined up for after hours? I'm not sure. Just say it was a country south of England. Not totally true. 51 and earlier had fabric cover control surfaces. Well, yeah, that. Yes, because there's a lot of correlation between that and a P-51. Identical, Nodders. I think we said we were going to play Stationeers. I think that was the idea. But anyway, cool. So SpaceX's 11th flight is scheduled for October 13th. That's 2 weeks from today. We'll see what happens. Wash your hands. Excuse me. I'm going to go wash my hands. How do you wash your hands? Touching the tiles, the real tiles, guys, is like touching fiberglass. Don't do that. Yeah, those tiles, if you touch them, your hand, you'll get all itchy. Top 3 SpaceX flight recap videos. I really like the original Falcon has landed video. This is always my favorite. That video even still around? Yeah, here we go. This one. This is an old video at this point. When this came out, dude, it was wild. It gets get a little fired up. Get a little fired up. You're watching that video now. Damn, dude. It's that last shot that I'm just like, yeah. You know? When the song drops, it's like, boom. SpaceX, it's either SpaceX or Test Shot Starfish. Yeah, but a lot of these hype videos they do in-house. Like that Starship one. This is in-house. These don't mute any VODs at all. This, I don't know, in terms of Starship hype ones, this one's pretty good, dude. This Flight 6 one is pretty good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Vehicle pitching downrange. Max Q. Ship ignition.
Stage separation.
Quick startup. Ship engine cutoff. Ship SM's entered payload deploy
Pretty
prep.
good, man. It's pretty good.
Open the pod bay doors out.
Ships in payload deploy.
There goes another one.
Relight demo startup.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Starship is subsonic.
Starship ready for startup.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, freaking cool, man. Oh my goodness. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with how awesome that is. Oh, okay. There are other SpaceX hype videos. I also particularly like the Falcon 9 Sonic Boom one. This one. No, that's not it. Hold on. That is a sweet video, though. This one. This is the guy right here.
I know a lot of people will be excited
That'd
when
be
they
awesome.
hear the sonic boom.
And these are going to provide quite a show because you're going to hear those sonic booms.
Booster landing leg deployed.
Good shot.
That sonic boom is great for us.
That thunderclap broke the sound barrier.
Side booster separation confirmed.
Just heard the two sonic booms here in the room.
Booster landing confirmed.
Dude, their vids are so good, man. They're so freaking good. Oh my goodness. Oh. Please last. Please last. Okay. Do you think a game or program that leads to design and emulate firing of a rocket engine would get ITAR'd? I don't know. I have no idea. Starlink spoils us. Does, Kiwi. You ain't kidding, man. Instead of supersonic retro propulsion, would the term now technically be hypersonic retro propulsion? No. Why would it change? How do they do it? Air around static fires almost all turbulent. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Too many people told me to see last. This is your favorite SpaceX video, but it will claim the VOD. Yeah, the how not to land an orbital rocket booster. Yeah, dude. Skydrip 66-month resub. How's it going? It's going, man. It's going. Can I watch the Sonic Boom one? There's this shot in the Sonic Boom video that just gets me fired up. It's like the second or third shot. About that question about video games, have you heard of Miko? Main engine cutoff. It's on Steam. I'm sure it's been linked to me at some point, Ravshin. Yeah. It's this neck, the
I know a
first
lot
shot
people
of
will
the
be excited when they
Falcon
hear
coming
the
in.
Sonic boom.
And these are
This
going
shot.
to provide quite a show because you're going to hear those sonic booms.
Oh, that's good, man. That's real good. That's real good.
Booster landing like deployed.
That Sonic boom was great for us.
Great for us, man.
That thunderclap broke the sound barrier.
Can I hold up, just. Damn, that thing. They should launch that more. That thing is pretty cool. They should launch that more. In the drone ship shot, you can see the booster deorbiting. Yeah, I forget what mission this one is, but yeah, you could see it doing its boost, or the entry burn. Entry burn? Yeah, the entry burn. And then, yeah, that shot is so legit, dude. Yeah, launch it, you know, for fun, as a treat. Also, there's the New Glenn structural pathfinder sitting on the transporter erector in this shot. Pretty good compilation of landable boosters. Well, you know what I mean.
Just heard the 2 sonic booms here in the room.
Booster landing confirmed.
Why they stopped launching Falcon Heavy? It's only really a niche case thing to use, Flykin. You only need it every once in a while for certain types of profiles of missions. The reason why they really stopped launching it a lot, dude, is because Falcon 9 just got too damn good. Seriously. Falcon 9 serves dude, Falcon 9 services most of the market that Super Heavy was supposed to take. Yeah, back in the day. Like, Falcon 9 just got really good. I mean, dude, look at the Malaysian satellite, that BSS 702 that SpaceX launched like 2 weeks ago. Dude, that's like a 6,000 kilogram satellite. In Falcon 9, a single stick Falcon 9 put it to GTO, and they recovered the stage. That's ridiculous. A single stick Falcon 9 doing geostationary insertions? You've got to be kidding me. Did the extended fairing ever get past development? I have no idea, Seacracken. That project has gone silent. We haven't heard anything about Falcon Heavy's extended fairings in a long time. Geostationary transfer, Flykin, not geo. What happened to Falcon landing in the Bahamas? You know, that's a good question. I mean, I think that a lot of the launches... So, Starlink missions have been flying the Northeast Corridor. And now that we're getting into winter, SpaceX will go back to using the Southeast Corridor for Starlink missions. Yeah, you'll start seeing it get used more. They use this in the winter months. The extended fairings is still in the payload user's manual. Maybe they'll have a bigger price tag. I think they're building it for the Department of Defense, and that's it. Are you sweating a lot, or is that camo? You're like the third person to ask this today. It's camo, dude. Ugh. You see the Firefly video? Yep. The Bahamian government was not happy with Starship blowing up and blowing up in pieces, falling on parts of the islands, is what I heard. Maybe, David. Who knows? Hard on you Italian, it's after 7 p.m. You don't need a reason to sweat. Dude. You ever have one of those days where, like, even after you take a cold shower, you're still sweating? And, like, you get into bed and you're just sitting there with freaking no covers on. You're still sweating your butt off. That happened to me yesterday. It happened to me freaking yesterday because I did so much freaking work, man. I was just sweating. You just sweat all the damn time. It's so goddamn annoying. Yeah, I gotta sleep in an ice box. Primo can't stand it, but I have to sleep in a freaking ice box or else I won't get good sleep. It has to be freaking cold. I call that every day. Gotta sweat like a freaking melon farmer, Ordon. Oh. Which one of you guys linked this? Check this out, dudes. It says a video. This is from Tim's Starbase tour, right? So those cameras in that video. Okay. 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 Yeah, those are in the those cameras are inside of the booster. I think that pretty much seals the deal there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Starship wouldn't have been anywhere near the Bahamas. Bahamas is a lot of different islands, dude. What are those large cylinders that say 376 TVCs? That's the electronic thrust vector control system. That's the gimbal. So what? Technically, your gimbal is right there. See the gimbal up there? That's what the technical gimbal is right there. These are your thrust vector controllers. So that is what actuates your gimbal. Are you planning on going to the Neutron launch when that happens? I'm trying to go there. I mean, if it's at Wallops, dude, I could probably get down there, yeah. You hate it when a cool person on Twitter who posts cool things about space goes and makes a crap post with a horrible political opinion. No good, you will never see me do that. If I do that, immediately unfollow, because that means one of my core values of the stream have been compromised. I'm serious. Or just say, hey man, this is dumb, shut up, and I'll probably listen. And if I don't, leave. Seriously. I can say that with absolute certainty and foresight. Like, if that happens, that means something is I've fundamentally compromised one of my rules of content creation. Don't get too political, man.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Cheese and biscuits.
Fun fact, koi fish always travel in groups of 4. If attacked, koi A, B, and C will scatter, leaving behind the decoy.
Have I seen this? Yeah, Mutter, we opened the stream up with that because that like just happened right when Space News started for the most part. But yeah, no good. You'll never hear that from me, guys. I try as best as I can not to. I give you my opinions about space flight and companies and stuff, and that's about it. I don't. Do I have political opinions? Yeah, sure. Who doesn't? What's that saying? Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one. You don't want to hear mine. I'm not going to waste your time with that. Now, what I will do is talk about spaceflight policy and give you historical context to spaceflight policy. And some people construed that as politics, but I'm not afraid to dive into space policy because that's what I know. I know that with certainty. You know what I mean? but that's different. At least I mean, you're not going to hear me like chant a political slogan like that one side or the other like saying nowadays, or nothing. You'll never see that kind of crap here. I don't do that. And they all stink, including your own, right? That's important to understand. BF6 for after hours on Thursday? Yep. Yep.
Discovery.
Keeson, tier 2, 96-month resub. We all know that EJ believes hot dogs are sandwiches. Are you trying to piss people off? How do you feel about the Patriots win? Hendo, I'll be 100% honest with you. I did not watch them play. I was building a deck, if you really want to know. I wore this shirt because it was the next shirt in the pile of clean clothes. It is purely a coincidence. With that being said, I'm happy they decided to show up because they did not show up for the first 3 games. I'm happy that somebody was like, hey, maybe we should actually like play football. That's probably a good idea. Guess which country will own EA soon? What? I don't want to know. But yeah, no good. You'll never get that crap from me ever. Not on the stream. And and this goes for anybody. If you see me touting like a political slogan or something, that means I've compromised one of my rules. Immediately unsubscribe from the stream. I'm serious. That means I failed as a content creator. Like, that's my modus operandi. It's been my modus operandi since I started streaming. Look, man, how many presidential administrations has this stream lasted? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done that without ever rocking the boat politically, except when it comes to spaceflight policy, because we're a little biased.
Tranquility Base here.
If we could survive the last 3, we're fine.
Is everyone aware of the most insane letter in the alphabet? Yeah, D's nuts.
Yeah. Can you not do that? Can you not do that? Text to speech during regular hours. All right, no good. Yeah, you'll never hear that crap from me. Even if, I'm sure a lot of you people agree with me. I'm sure a lot of people you disagree with me, with my opinions about things. But you don't want to hear those. You want to hear my spaceflight opinions. Yeah. You know how much it sucked saying Sierra Space is a freaking bunch of pretenders? You know how much that pissed me off? That sucked, man. You think I wanted to do that? You think I want to do this? You know? All right. Shall we go blow things up? Build a base in Stationeer? Rewind 15 seconds. Shall we go play Stationeers? Let's go. No, it's got to be your bowl. Is Sierra doing inflatables still, though? I don't care. Then do whatever. Talk to me when you fly Dream Chaser. I don't care. Okay. Thanks to the stream as always. All right, you guys know the drill. I'm going to jog the YouTube VOD. Just taking a quick break just to jog the YouTube VOD. I'll be back like less than 5 minutes. All right. Thank you very much for watching the Space and Rocket review. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Same time. Well, might be a slightly different time depending on when I want, the nominal gap for Space News start. I'll see you tomorrow. But I'm going to be back for Stationeers in a second. All right? Just don't go anywhere. All right?